Hi, I'm Bill Miller. I'm going to talk to you today about how to plan for retirement, and this time I'm going to talk to you about your finances. I got 25 years being retired. Maybe I know something about retirement. When I retired, I was in really good shape. Luckily, I did everything right without knowing about it. So I want to tell you about some of my mistakes, and I want to tell you about my successes. If you're 70 and you're tuning in, you're pretty much in a really tough place. You don't have any room left to start saving now. If you're 60, you're a bit late to the game. If you live on peanuts, maybe you might just be able to squeak through. I'm assuming now that you have nothing. What are you going to need to retire? It's going to really vary a lot. $500,000? Ha! I wish. No. I'll tell you that it takes a lot less money once you're retired. Of course, there will be some seniors will say, there's a reason it's called the golden years. It takes so much gold to live. Well, yeah, you have some expensive medical bills. It can eat up a bunch of your money. If you have to go into a retirement home, I hope you have a bunch of money, because those places are expensive. I had not a friend, but an acquaintance, someone I met on a cruise, said he bought into a retirement home here in New Mexico. They wanted $220,000 down, and for a 700-foot apartment, it was $4,500 a month. That's the assisted living part. So if you have to go that route, you better have a lot of bucks. So let's talk about if you're 40 and you maybe have $20,000 and you're just starting to think about retirement. You're late in the game, but you got a chance. That's about when I started. And it just came to me, just like someone hit me in the head with a baseball bat. You haven't started planning. And through something happened, I wound up with $5,000 with doing something besides my job, and I sold something and got some money. And when I had this in my hands, I realized this is the time to start working on retirement. And for certain, that's not enough money. But it really got me to thinking. So I thought I'd start investing in stock. And I'll tell you why I did that. I did a lot of reading. And what my reading said that if you put your money in savings, since 1891, it said you'd get 3.5% on your savings. And also during that period of time, inflation rate was 3%. So you only made 0.5%. That's not going to work. Okay, people say you ought to buy these bonds. Oh boy, bonds are a real good thing. Well, since 1891, they paid 7% on average. Ups, downs. Take away 3.5%, got 3.5%. That's not much. But if you look at the stock market, same time period, it averaged 10%. Boy, all you got to do is go out and buy a couple of stocks, you can get rich. Yeah? No, you're going to lose your butt. And that's exactly what happened to me. I didn't lose my butt, but I got burned a couple of stocks. Not really burned, but enough that it caught my attention and I figured out something very important. If you're going to go out and grill a steak on your grill, what's worse can happen? You're going to burn the steak. If you're going to hire an electrician, the only reason you hire him is because if you do it yourself, you could burn your house down. And if you do, the insurance won't cover you because you should have had an electrician. Well, if you're going to start investing in the stock market, you need a professional, someone that knows what they're doing, someone that's gone to college for years and years, learned how to do this stuff, and can spend the time and the research to buy stocks. These things are called mutual funds. They're also called ETFs. But here's the big thing. When you call a stockbroker, oh yeah, I got the one for you. What do you know? The stockbroker makes all this money and you get screwed. So watch out. There are two big firms, Fidelity and Schwab, selling all kinds of mutual funds and ETFs, electronic, I don't know what they mean, but what they are is you buy a basket of stocks. What you need most when you start buying stocks is diversification. People will say that, oh, I heard about this stock, it's really doing great. Well, that's fine. But you don't want to buy that crap. And I'll tell you why. If you do, it may do really well. And then something happens and it falls on its face. Now, if you're in a mutual fund, you got professionals over there that understand this kind of stuff and get forewarned so they can make an average of a really good investment. If they don't, they're fired and they're out on the street. And there's another guy comes in. So you want a fund that's got a history of good returns, charges you very little. And the amount you want to have them charge you is less than 1% of your portfolio. It's a big word, isn't it? It means more than one stock. Now, you do not want to start picking stocks. I'll tell you, there's landmines everywhere. But you may be good at it. I thought I was pretty good at it. Yeah. Spent a lot of time, a lot of reading, a lot of time in the library. And I picked some stocks, and I had mediocre kind of success. Not very good. I had some losers. Finally, in 1990, just before I retired, somehow I learned that you ought to go to mutual funds. And with the idea that you want to diversify. So the first mutual fund I bought had 1,000 stocks in it. And it covered, I think, the total stock market or some big diversified amount of stocks. My reasoning was I was well diversified. If these stocks lost all their money, the United States was gone. Russia took over, China took over. And, you lost everything anyway. Back in 2008, my total amount of stocks dropped to almost 50% of what it was before the big drop. But there was no problem, not really. The only time you lose money is if you're dumb enough to sell. Now, I grew up in a neighborhood of people that came from Europe, Italians, Poles, Irish, from all over the world. And what they all understood was you buy low, you sell high. You don't sell high, buy high and sell low. That sounds 1, 2, 3. But I see people do it every single day. In 2008, all these dumbbells went out and sold stock that they paid up here for, and they sold it for down here. What is wrong with these people? All you do is sit back and ride it out. It's going to come back. Think of your house. If the value of your house goes down, you don't sell your house. That'd be stupid. Well, the same thing with your investments. They go up, they go down. Go sideways. You don't think about that kind of stuff. Time. Time is what you need over a period of time. Like I told you, the stock market, in general, since 1891 has returned 10%. It has its ups, has its downs. We had a Great Depression. Dropped down, I don't know what it was, maybe it was 30%. Dropped down, but didn't go away. The same thing with your investments. If you're 40 years old, what you've got to do is get in a highly diversified investment. And you have to start putting money away, and it'll start growing and growing and growing. Time's your asset here. If you don't have time, you're not going to make it. So you're doing two things. You're forming a discipline. It's like a diet that you're going on. But whatever money you have coming in, the first money that comes off the top is the money you put away for you. Got to do that. The first money isn't for pleasures and all that. No. And the last money for you? No. You are your own advocate. No one else will do it for you. If you reach age 70 and you're ready to retire and you don't have anything, I don't know what you're going to do. But if you do have a decent amount of money, and it varies with everyone on the planet. My next door neighbor has got less than I do, and the guy next to me on the other side has got a lot more than I do. We all have different needs. I eat 2 meals a day. I don't eat 6 meals a day. I don't go out and blow money. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I don't have all this. I don't go out and bar hop and pay $15 for a drink and drink 10 drinks a night. I don't spend that much money. So I find that as I'm now 87 years old, the value of my investments is going up and my needs are less and less and less. I'm not spending money. So the people that are going to inherit my family, they're going to wind up with a pretty good investment. Large by my standards, because when I was a kid, I grew up in a neighborhood, no one had anything. My dad made $40 a week and supported us. So by my standards, I think I got a lot. I know I can go out and buy a shirt anytime I want to. I can go places and I can do things. So my lesson today is, if you're 40, start putting money away, put it in the stock market. You can go out and start buying houses and flipping houses. I did that for a while. Well, I wasn't flipping houses. I worked for housing and urban development. I was bidding on houses to redo them. I was making much more than what I was earning working my job. And for a while, I was buying cars and selling cars on the side. I've always done something, but the money was being put away. By the time you hit 60, you better have your house paid for. Does that sound like a lot? It really isn't. If you've been paying on your house for 30 years, that house ought to be paid for. If you're buying another house every 10 years, bigger, more expensive, because payments are low. If you're making payments, boy, you're screwed. You can't make payments. Not on cars, not on anything, nothing. You got a credit card? If you can't make the payment every month, pay off the card, you don't need a card. if you can't resist it, don't have a credit card. And that's hard to do. I understand that. But you got to do whatever you have to do. Because when you get to be 70 years old, you cannot live on Social Security. I've seen little old ladies trying to live on $700 a month. It's pitiful. I feel so sorry for those people. I don't know what I can say to them, but there's nothing I can do for them. Anyway, that's the lesson for today.